This tutorial will show you how to completely set up your Weebly. You are going to start by going to Weebly.com and clicking on the sign up button. I actually already have an account, so I'm going to log in, but follow through the prompts to sign up. So I'm going to click log in, and I use my Google, so I'm going to go ahead and just log in with my Gmail. And then when you get in, my dashboard looks a little bit different, and I'm going to actually add a site and walk you through this. You're just going to go ahead and go through the prompts and then click that you just want to create a website. So I'm going to click add a site. This will pop up and you will click I just need a website. Then you are going to click portfolio and select the modus operandi theme. And then up in the right hand corner, click start editing. Now you're going to select your domain name. So this is the web address people would use to access your website. So it'll start with a www dot what you want to call it .weebly.com. So my recommendation here is something with your name that doesn't involve any numbers, just because numbers kind of make it tricky to remember a web address. So for example, I might want to call it funnel designs search. So this is available. I could choose this. So you want to stay away from the professional domain because we're not paying for anything. We want to use a subdomain. So if it says unavailable here, you're going to need to change something. Maybe you want to add, like for example, if funnel designs was taken, maybe I could try funnel art and design. So whatever you want to call it, that is something that you can remember. Go ahead and click choose, and then you're going to click done. And then really quickly, first thing we're going to do is under settings, click on SEO. Down at the bottom, we are going to hide our site from search engines. Click save. This is something you can change at a later date when you graduate. If you want it to be found, you can always change that. But for now, we're going to keep it private. And then we're going to go back up to build. Now, the first thing we're going to do is delete all of these little pictures. And you're going to be adding your own in later. So we're just going to wipe this clean so we basically have an empty template. Keep in mind when you delete these, they do shift around a little bit. So just be prepared for that, but just keep deleting them until they're gone. And then, I got a couple more. There's a spacer I'm going to delete, and then these three little social media icons we're going to get rid of. And then where it says my site, I am going to click here and go ahead and give that a title. I'm just going to call this funnel designs to go along with the URL I created, and just click outside of that. Then the next thing we're going to do is click on pages, click on about, delete it, click on contact, delete it. So now we have a home and it's pretty basic and boring. Just to practice a second, go ahead and hit publish. Publish equals save in Weebly world, so hit that often. And then also just so you can see, here pops up your URL. So if I clicked on that, my little link, this is what it looks like to the public eye. And again, there's nothing on here yet. So I'm going to click out of that, X this, go back into here. So click back into pages. We're going to add some pages now. So click the plus. We are going to add a standard page and go ahead and call this about. We are going to click on header and do no header. Click done. and then go into build. We are going to take a text box, drag it to the right, and we are going to type in artist bio goes here. You will be writing your artist bio in one of your art classes, but we're just going to put this here for our own reference. So the text box is there and we can just copy and paste. It's done. Go ahead, go back up to pages, click the plus again. We're going to do another standard page. And this time you are going to add a page for every art class you're in. For example, drawing and painting. I am going to do header, no header, and click done. Now you might just be in one art class, so that's great, you're done. Now some of you are in multiple art classes, so let's say I'm also in ceramics. I'm going to click the plus, add a standard page, type ceramics, do no header, click done. All right, so now I've got a drawing and painting page, ceramics page. If you happen to be in more art classes, add one for photography, graphic design, etc. The last page I'm going to add is actually a blog page. I'm going to leave it titled blog, and then once again, I'm going to click on no header. And then there's some extra stuff here we're going to delete. Let's go ahead and delete this author tab, the categories tab, and the RSS feed tab. And then I'm going to leave the archives. I suppose you could delete it if you wanted to, but the archives, as you post, will then generate a list of dates so you can find your post. So I like to keep that. Then I'm going to hit publish again to save the work I've done. If you want to, you can click on this and see it. Click through. There's where my artist bio goes. I've got my drawing and painting, my ceramics, my blog. All right, so go back into your home. We are going to take an image and drag it here. So what needs to go here is either a photo of you, and keep in mind this should not be a Snapchat selfie with a filter on it. This should be a more professional, nicer photo of you. So you could have a photo that someone's taken, or you could take a photo specifically for this, or yet another option if you don't want your own face on there is you could put some artwork on there. So it could be something from drawing and painting, something from ceramics, so you could pick. So when you have a photo, you can click upload, and I just have a couple sample pictures here of student artwork to use for this. So I'm going to click open, and then this image will pop up. Now notice how big it is. I can click or hover over it, and then there is a blue box in the right hand corner, little tab. I can resize this, so I could make this much smaller so it fits nicely on the page, looks nice and clean. Publish to save it, click to check that out. Cool, that looks good. So use your judgment. It shouldn't be massive, but you don't want it tiny either. Clicking back into here, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to add photos into your specific class pages. So notice I'm in the build tab up here. So if you don't see this stuff, you might need to click back into that. And then you have several options. You have a gallery or a slideshow. So you can pick one or the other. I'll just show you the gallery. So if you click and upload the pictures, I'll just use my sample pictures here, open these, and then here these photos show up. Now you do have a couple options here that maybe I want all 4 of them in a row, or I could do, have them like this, 2 and 2. You can mess around with the spacing if you want them really close together. You can also change the image ratio. So none would mean showing the full thing. You could do squares or you could do rectangles. Okay, I kind of like the look of this square, so I'm going to do a square. And then I like, let's see, click back. We'll do the 4. I think that looks good. And then I'm going to hit publish. Again, let's check this out. Click into drawing and painting. Now when I click on this, I can then click through and see all my photos right there.